Good morning, everybody. This is Toucan Dragon, and welcome back to Digimon Rearise. So Thursday night, we got the release of the new Crusadermon banner, and to be honest, thinking about it more, I think I might skip this one. Don't get me wrong, this Digimon looks good. It has stats that rival Alphamon, and abilities with a good selfing passive that makes it a good all-around attacker. The only problem is, I feel like it came out a little too late. It might have been more enticing if this banner released in the beginning of the week, or even more so if it released last month. But it released the last couple of days of the Brave boost, and most tamers won't have enough DGV codes in time before the boost ends. Unless they purchase the training set, but there's a high chance if tamers pull for Crusadermon, they won't have enough to purchase the training set. And with June right around the corner, I have a feeling that Miragemon Paladin mode might release next month or July. So in a way, this banner kind of feels like bait, at least to me, and to top all that off, the banner it's in isn't really that good. Looking at Dynasamon you have a chance for him and for Alphamon, versus in this banner featuring Crusadermon, yes, you could pull Crusadermon, but the other featured Digimon is the old MirageGaogamon that we had released probably like a year ago. But if you do like this Digimon and want to add it to your collection, then do what you think is best for your team. I'm just here to give my thoughts and to arm you with enough information to help you make an informed decision. So, with that said, let's go over how well Crusadermon holds up to other Brave Digimon we have currently. For this comparison, we are going to be comparing Crusadermon with a fellow Royal Knight, Gallantmon, and a pretty decent Brave Mon we have currently in Pokemon Dragon Mode. Right off the bat, looking at their HP, Crusadermon beats them both. Crusadermon has 6321, while Gallantmon and Miragemon have 5720. So Crusadermon has a little bit more bulk to him, which is more evident in his defense. His defense is at 1584, while Gallant is at 1339, and so is in Pokemon Dragon Mode. Looking at Crusadermon's HP and defense stat alone, we can tell it can take more damage than Gallantmon and in Pokemon Dragon Mode can. And with a decent amount of power stat that he has at 3920, he can deal, well, a decent amount of damage. In Pokemon Dragon Mode shares the exact same amount of power at 3920, but Gallantmon is different at 4309. But then again, remember, Gallantmon has a strong single target, so the high power compensates that he can only deal a heavy amount of damage to one enemy. Versus Crusadermon wants to hit anywhere between 2 to 4 enemies with his main and sub skill. Next, looking at their speed, this seems about the same at 27 for all three. Next, let's compare Crusadermon with Alphamon. So looking at both of them, they share almost exact same stats. They have the same amount of power and defense, and almost the same amount of HP, but Alphamon barely beats Crusadermon with 500 extra points in his HP. Looking at the speed, Crusadermon has more speed at 27, while Alpha has speed at 8, but if you're around when Alphamon first released, you probably have both sets of his plugins, which bump up his speed to 40 something. I don't remember the exact number, but it's above 40. So if you have those two plugins, then Alphamon stat-wise is better than Crusadermon. But if you get Crusadermon and you decide to buy Crusadermon's training set, they'll bump up his speed to the exact same as Alphamon with two plugins. So it's complicated. I would say just stat-wise, we're not in the abilities yet, but just stat-wise, Alphamon does beat Crusadermon. And I would say if you did have Alphamon, then you wouldn't really need Crusadermon. But Crusadermon does have somewhat better utility than Alphamon. But like I said, if you have Alphamon, just me personally, I wouldn't go too far into Crusadermon. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll talk about it more once we get to its abilities. Now looking at Crusadermon's abilities, Crusadermon's main skill deals 340% damage to 2 enemies while ignoring block. And those 2 enemies that it does hit, it will reduce their defense by 40%, which, to be honest, it's kind of nice. By dealing damage to 2 enemies, it's ignoring their block and lowering the defense if it doesn't take it out first. Looking at Gallantmon deals deals 460 damage to one enemy, while increasing his own counter rate by 30% and adds his own shield to himself. Where in Miragemon, he kind of wants to be an attacker like Crusadermon. Well, to be honest, it's the other way around. Crusadermon wants to be an attacker like in Digimon Dragon Mode, but Crusadermon does a better job. They both deal the same amount of damage to two enemies, but in Digimon Dragon Mode lowers the enemy's defense by 30%, versus Crusadermon lowers it by 40%, 10% more, which it's good. And in Digimon Dragon Mode will increase his power by 30%. Yes, Crusadermon doesn't have that in its main skill, but has that in its passive. Instead, in the main skill, has Ignore Enemy Block, which is just as good. So, right off the bat, between Miragemon and Crusadermon kind of wins it with the main skill. But comparing to a Royal Knight, Galmon takes it due to his gimmick being in his main skill, which is giving himself more HP. But now looking at Crusadermon's sub-skill, we kind of see a small gimmick that it has, but it's not something new. So Crusadermon's sub-skill deals 160% damage to 4 enemies, and gives all brave allies an evade for 1 attack. Now, an evade is nice, yes, but it's nothing new. We have this same exact skill for Miragemon, but Miragemon does a better job because Miragemon is a healer. Miragemon will do the same thing that Crusadermon's doing, give all brave allies an evade, but on top of that, allows brave allies to heal themselves every time they make an action. While Crusadermon, all Crusadermon's doing is giving our allies an evade. The evade is nice, but it's kinda, I wouldn't say worthless, because it's not. It's a good ability to have, especially if you pair Crusadermon with Miragemon. Miragemon basically gives everyone a second evade. So you can use Crusadermon's sub-skill to give all brave allies an evade. Well, actually, I would use Miragemon's main skill first to give all brave allies an evade, and give them the ability to heal themselves with every action. Once Miragemon's evade is gone from all your allies, then go with Crusadermon's sub-skill to give your allies an evade again. So it's good, and it'll be kind of interesting to pair it with Miragemon, but again, it's not new. Every Royal Knight that we've had to this point has had their own gimmick, be it Omegamon with the damage limiter, Galmon with the shield effect. Who else do we have? Dynasmon with the counter, Alphamon with his power increase with every ability. So every good Royal Knight we've had has had their own little gimmick. Crusadermon doesn't really have one, just that evade, but it's nothing new. It's nice because that's the only supportive skill it has, but I still feel like this Digimon would have been so much better if it came out at least last month. But no, they waited a little bit too long to release this Digimon, and it's not really needed right now. But if it's your favorite, again, do what you want. I'm just giving you my opinion. Now looking at Galamon's sub-skill. To be honest, Galamon has a better sub-skill. He deals the exact same amount of damage to 4 enemies, but he shortens enemies' buff by a turn while decreasing their tech by 30%. Now, the decreased tech by 30% is situational, but shortening enemies' buffs by a turn, that's really good. Because your enemy, no matter what, with their passive or their abilities, even if the enemy is the AI, they're gonna buff. Galmon takes care of that. Versus Crusadermon just gives your allies an extra chance to attack, or an extra chance to take a hit. And then looking at Digimon Dragon Mode deals 210% damage to 3 enemies, and has a 40% chance to inflict blind. The blind is good, but we have Black Greymon out now, and if people did pull for Brave Bialzamon nullifies that too, so it just depends. But out of these 3 Digimon, to be honest, the Royal Knight that takes it is Gallantmon. Crusadermon is a pretty good Brave Digimon, but in a sense, as a Royal Knight, in this game at least, his utility is kind of underperforming. And lastly, looking at his passive, Crusadermon's greedy. increases his own power by 40% and crit rate by 40%, and that's permanent. So this is why I was saying that Crusadermon is better than Digimon Dragon Mode, because it has almost exact same main skill, except Crusadermon does it way better. Next, let's look at Alphamon. Now, Alphamon, like I said before in my last Before You Pull video that featured Alphamon, Alphamon is a good brave Digimon, but we're nearing the time where this Alphamon is reaching his peak. Yes, he has good stats, but his utility is kind of dropping. In Alphamon's main skill, he deals 280% damage to 3 enemies, which is nothing special, but what is special is that skill lock he has. He has a 50% chance to inflict skill lock on those 3 enemies. But on top of that, he also buffs himself plus 25% every time he uses an ability, but it stacks only up to 75%. Alphamon has a small gimmick of buffing himself, versus Crusadermon, if you could call it its gimmick, is to give all allies evade. Even though Crusadermon does have a high buff on his passives, with a plus 40 power and plus 40 crit, Alphamon technically has plus 75 power if you use 3 of his skills. And Alphamon could survive long enough to do 3 of his skills because he has a pretty good defense and HP stat. Plus, if you have both sets of his plugins, he can stay alive for a good while. So, if you're an older player who already has an Alphamon with both of his plugins, I believe only then Alphamon is a safe Digimon just to sit on, since again you have both of his plugins, which will increase his speed and his defensive capabilities, as well as his power, but that's going to be a given. While Crusadermon, yes, Crusadermon has 1 set out right now, and there's a high chance you might get a second set in the Battle Park sooner or later, but where we're at right now in the game, if you're free to play and you're really just saving up for another game-breaking Digimon, like Miragemon, who's probably coming soon, then I would just wait a little bit. Because Crusadermon's here for about a month, I believe, so the Brave Boost is over. So what do you really need Crusadermon for? Because Crusadermon by itself won't really work that well. Now in a Brave team, it'll work better, but with Brave Boost gone, Tamers are gonna kind of shy away from the Brave team for the Calm team, which is tomorrow. It's difficult to say, because Crusadermon does look good, but I still think it's here just a little too late. And it's kind of a shame too, because Crusadermon was a big villain in Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, and from what I've been hearing, it was a villain in Frontier as well. So it's kind of a shame that its utility isn't as special as other role knights, but it's a decent brave Digimon in general. Lastly, let's quickly go over MirageGaogamon. Now, since MirageGaogamon is a re-release in this banner, I was thinking of what to compare him with, but the thing with MirageGaogamon, in Battle Park, he's not that good. He came out last year, and last year you'd only want to pull for him for Clash Battles. But nowadays we have better Digimon for Clash Battles. I mean, like even Gallantmon could do really good in Clash Battles since it's a single target. MirageGaogamon's HP is at 7783, power 3305, defense 1613, and speed at 22. It's okay, but as Deaf Digimon go, for Battle Park, even with his main skill, which he does 460% damage to a single enemy, while decreasing the enemy's defense and block rate by 40%, it's still not as good because in the Battle Park, you're dealing with 5 Digimon. So this main skill is good, but only in Clash Battle. In Battle Park, not really. His sub-skill maybe helps with Battle Park a little bit. He deals 210% damage to 3 enemies and decreases those enemies' crit rate by 20%. That's a pretty small crit rate down, and even then, he's not dealing that much damage. I'd rather save that slot on my team for another Digimon who could help out my allies or help debuff the enemy more. So yeah, and his passive, it's just Nullifying Burn for all allies, which we have other Digimon who can do that and more for the passive. So to be honest, you would only be pulling in this banner for Crusadermon. If you got MirageGaogamon on the way, cool, but he's not worth chasing unless you're trying to build a collection for all of Data Squad. Then maybe, just collection-wise, it's worth it. But performance-wise, MirageGaogamon, he's not don't chase him, please. He's not worth a chase. With all that said, now I want to know your thoughts. Are you guys going to pull for Crusadermon? Or are you going to wait and see what June holds? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button. And if you haven't yet, you should subscribe. But don't forget to hit that little bell icon so you can be notified when I post more videos. This has been Toucan Dragon. And if I can, you can too. And if you waited long enough to this point in the video, here's a little spoiler for my next one. Next video will be another massive pull on the free ticket summon banner. Just letting you guys know. Anyways guys, I'll see you all later.